You want to be sure that your mortar that you make is still pretty dry. The more water you have in there, the weaker it's going to be when it's done. This is a pretty good consistency. This is probably the equivalent of wet sand at a playground or something. So there is no real water ratio. It's just a matter of mixing it based on, you know, how you feel, what the texture is. All right, in the next step, you're gonna need a bike pump, test ball, wrench, razor knife, the drain collar, some tape, and the rubber membrane, which is also called the bladder on some occasions. Also, you'll need to get some silicone. This is just builder grade, and you'll use this around the drain. You'll see in the video when it comes up. So let's get into it. Now when you get to these corners, it's critical that you fold this rubber the right way, and as you can see, I want to make a sharp corner here. So I'm going to push down with my finger in the corner like this, and then I'm going to fold the rubber membrane up and then run some tape on it to hold it still for a moment. Then I'm going to check it. Then I want to take another length of tape. Well, first let me do this. Now I want to take another length of tape. Tie this all together here. And voila. Alright, now that we got our bladder in place, or our membrane rather, now it's time to cut out the drain. And to do that, you want to find the location of the bolts, and run some silicone underneath the membrane along the plastic drain assembly. And lastly, you want to cut open the drain hole. And we're going to show you how to do that the right way. So we have our test ball in place. And this shower pan has to hold water for 24 hours. And for us, it's Friday. But our inspection won't happen until Monday. So unfortunately, we'll have to wait. But for you, it'll be in the next shot. Alright, so after passing our inspection, we're going to remove the test ball from the drain. The next step we're going to want to do is we're going to want to put a roll of cement board directly into the bottom row of this shower so we can build our pan right into the walls. And now the final step is to build the final shower pan. And as you can see, we have this membrane that comes out, so the inspector wanted us to have at least 12 inches of overhang in order to prevent water from getting underneath the rubber membrane. So what we're going to do now is we're going to mix up some of this Superior floor mix. Got some water. I got a cheap trough from Home Depot, shovel, finishing trough. We have this shower pitch kit. And so for those of you who are doing this for your first time, I highly recommend you using this. I typically wouldn't use one of these, but since I'm doing this video for y'all, I figure I'm going to use one just to show you how to do it. Alright, so you can see we've got this in place. And in most cases, you would also use one of these, I don't know what you'd call this, a plastic leveling guide. And you would run one here, and you'd run one here. And in order to have a bowl for all the water to drain to. But in our case, we're kind of making a diagonal pattern because the floor tile needs to flow into the shower as one continuous floor, and the tile that we're using is kind of a larger format. And for most of you who are going to try to tile this yourself, I really recommend using a small 1 inch or 1.5 inch at max format tile so that it follows the contour of your shower bed. Alright, so the next step is we're going to take our drain cover and we're going to thread that back into the drain assembly. And we're going to make sure that we leave this just a little bit loose. And always make sure that you're putting your drain in properly, because if you misthread the plastic threading, it can be a real pain. Alright, so now we got that in. Remember, we want to leave it just a little bit loose. Alright, so now that this drain is in place, our next step is going to be to fill each of these compartments with mortar and troll it out so it's nice and smooth, and that will be the final surface that we tile on top of. So let's do it. Now as you're mixing this, remember, the drier this is, the better it's going to be. And you can see the consistency of this is pretty dry. And I have some dry pockets underneath. And that's okay if you have some dry spots in there, because it will all absorb. See that? For you first timers, what I recommend you doing is taking a level, finding the height of your floor, and transferring that mark to the back wall. And as you can see, we're pretty good. We're within level. And I didn't mark it out, but this also isn't the first time I've done this. So for you first timers, I highly suggest you give yourself a reference point to build from and slope away from there. And also another thing to keep in mind is that you want to leave a little bit of space around here, because this still spins. And if you need to adjust this up after you get the tile in place, you want to be able to do so. But if you pack this full of cement, it's going to be frozen shut. So just be sure you follow those 2 steps and don't get too far ahead of yourself. So I got a little more work here, and I'm going to keep working at this for a bit, but we're going to show you guys what the final product looks like. Y'all, so that's what it looks like. As soon as this is dry, we'll be ready to tile on top of this. If you guys want to see that in the next video, be sure to hit the subscribe button. And also, be sure to look in the description. I'll also put a link for a pre-pan kit, which we didn't use, that I highly recommend you first timers use. And I'll also put a link for the pitch kit that we used. And you see how I used that pitch kit as my reference point for where the pitch is going? That's how it works. I still have a little bit of play here, so I can adjust this later, and that's it. All right, y'all, this is Jesse from handyworks.com. Hope you found this video useful. Be sure to leave some comments and likes. Maybe you have some different tips and techniques just leave those below. All right, y'all.